Welcome to the Sweep College Baseball Weekend Series predictions, where we take 5 of the best upcoming series, hopefully, and do a little prediction on what team we think will come out with the series win, if not the sweep. Last week was rough for me, but overall, we now both sit at 12 and 13 after I had an 0 for 5 week, and Kevin over there had a 3 and 2 week, closing the gap there to making it now even. But we have a great slate of college baseball coming up. Kind of tough to choose some of the series. There are a lot of interesting matchups coming up, but want to headline things off with number 9 Florida going to number 4 LSU. Florida just seems to lose every midweek, but gets it done every weekend. So haven't lost a weekend series yet, but keep on just racking up the losses here and there, and not sweeping weekends either. So it seems like every week they're going 2-2. And LSU last week definitely looked a little bit iffy. Their pitching was definitely off, even though they have a lot of talent there. Seemed like definitely a down week, and should be looking to turn things around there. And with that reason, at home for LSU, got to make up for what I did last week, where I chose a bunch of SEC teams on the road and not a single one in the conference won. So this week I'm sticking with the home team here, and LSU to take the series, and gives Florida their first weekend series loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same here. I think if it wasn't for last week, I'd be more inclined to take Florida, but they won that series over A&M, and LSU lost that series against Mississippi State. So I don't think Florida's catching them off guard at all. And LSU wants to get things on the right track after having a losing weekend in SEC play, and so I think LSU is just playing better baseball as well in general. So gonna stick with the home team as well here.
Yep. And next up, we have maybe the best matchup in the ACC, with number 14 Florida State going to number 3 Clemson. And as of right now, that Florida State team is still undefeated. So we'll see if that can withstand going up against what is right now one of the hottest teams in college baseball, if not the hottest. For me personally, I'm sticking with the home team here as well. I just think Clemson is looking the part at this time, but Florida State's record speaks for itself. We said this so much, and having them jump this high up into the top 25 kind of shows that off to everyone, what we kind of think the whole season of Florida State has been going so far. But I think Clemson is just a buzzsaw right now, and Florida State's heading right for them. So I think they pick up at least 2 losses here on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clemson as well. Just playing really good baseball altogether right now, and you might think they're in for a little bit of a sleeper week here after going on the road and winning that huge series over Duke. But I think Florida State being undefeated kind of gives them that juice to really want to prepare for this weekend and take down Florida State and give them their first loss, and more than their first loss, first two or three losses.
Yeah. And now the third series that we have is number 5 Vanderbilt going to number 19 South Carolina. Vanderbilt looks extremely hot, also one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. And South Carolina did just have a pretty poor week last week, but now at home, that SEC crowd apparently makes a big difference for teams at home there. And I think I'm going to give it to South Carolina, second straight week where I'm picking against Vanderbilt, so hoping it doesn't bite me in the butt again. But last week, obviously, they were at home, so switching things up here as the road team, and I'm sticking with SEC home team in South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm not too down on South Carolina after a couple series losses against Clemson and Ole Miss. Still think it's a very good team, and they were still pretty competitive in those series, especially the Clemson one. But I think Vandy's just playing at a really high level right now. Certainly showed it in that sweep over Auburn, and just doesn't look like they're letting up at all right now. I feel like the people were kind of slandering them early in the year, us included, and rightfully so. They weren't playing really that well, but they've certainly got things back on the right track, and I'm going to go with Vandy to keep things hot this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep slandering them until they win on the road. So this is the week to prove it, and I'm gonna have to eat all my words if they do end up winning this series. But hopefully that doesn't happen and gives me another point on my side of things. But after that, we have number 8 Duke going to number 20 NC State. Both teams had a really rough week with Duke jumping up the standings after beating Wake Forest and then happening to fall right back down after losing to Clemson, and Clemson kind of taking that spot, and NC State not winning a single game last week was definitely rough for them. So both teams really looking for a bounce back here, and I'm gonna decide to finally flip over to the visiting team and choose the Duke squad that I just think overall has looked just more complete and has a great pitching staff. They had a little bit of a down week last week, but I think can really turn things around. And yeah, maybe against the offense that isn't as high caliber as Clemson is really gonna start making things click again.
Yeah, really rough week for NC State, especially last week, but both these teams in general. Looks like NC State's back on the right track, picking up a midweek win over Coastal, but yeah, I'm not too sure they're going to be able to pull off this high profile series win here. It's just a lot to ask, especially playing that many games in a row against very tough competition. And so I'm going to go with Duke to bounce back and take this series on the road.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned last week, if we both choose the same team, it's pretty much a guarantee that the other side wins it. Last week, that did in fact come true with both of us picking away teams with Texas A&M and Wake Forest, and both of them losing those series, even though they were the better team on paper. So we can continue that through this week and probably pick up some extra losses here for us. But our final series this week for our prediction is number 17 Dallas Baptist going to Sam Houston State. Wanted to bring in a mid-major because you got to give them that extra love. There are a bunch of other like SEC and ACC matchups that be seeing pretty much every other week. So, got to spread the love in one way or another. And this week, pretty good matchup with DBU on the road here against a very solid Sam Houston State squad that has beat some like SEC teams throughout the season so far. I'm gonna stick with DBU. They've looked super solid overall, and yeah, I think that they're just playing a really great brand of baseball, which is why we have them so high in the rankings at this point.
Yeah, I think this might have been my toughest matchup to pick here. Like you said, DBU is playing extremely well, but Sam Houston State's playing pretty well. Also, has been on the fringe of our top 25 for a couple weeks. Like you said, do have some impressive wins on that resume, and they've played especially well at home, and they are at home for this weekend. Um, just for the sake of having some competition, I'm going to go with Sam Houston State here, give them the edge. I think this one was really tight for me anyway, and would have liked either side to pick. So I'm gonna go with Sam Houston State at home.
Well, with something like that, at least one of us is getting a win on our tally instead of the option of us both going down with a sinking ship. So, yeah, should be interesting. A lot of other games that were should be very exciting this weekend, just not highlighted here. But yeah, pay attention to the future on this channel. We got podcasts coming out very shortly with our recaps of the series that we just mentioned, along with rankings and stuff like that. So yeah, pay attention for that and stay tuned for more. Goodbye.